Right, well, I'm now joined by a member of the coalition in Johannesburg, ActionSA, and their leader, Herman Mashaba, joins us now. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. I think you heard that clip from the mayoral spokesperson alleging a witch hunt to try and get rid of the mayor. Do you agree that's what's going on here?
Absolutely, Sally, and good evening to the viewers of eNCA. Absolutely, there's a concerted effort by this the corrupt hyenas to illegally take over the city of Johannesburg, capture it, because obviously as a multi-party government, we are on a mission to uproot the corruption and maladministration and put together a professional public service. And Mayor Palazzi has got our full support as a multi-party government in this regard. And there's rogue elements pretending to really be representatives of civil society. We will show them the numbers at the next sitting of council. Obviously, I think the last time around they thought our democracy is on sale. Yeah, they can go around buying people. It's something that obviously I think from our side we missed. But we are now aware. That's why we've now, as ActionSA, we do two very important things today, this morning. By this morning already, I think it has never happened to any political party before, where by Monday morning already, we had Senate sitting last night. We fired our councillor who failed to show up at council without giving the sufficient reasons as to why he stayed away from council, saying that he needed to augment his earnings. How, obviously, he cannot explain. So we decided to remove him. So as ActionSA, within the next few days, we'll be presenting to council, and I see someone to replace someone like that. Secondly, one of our councillors, who I'm very immensely proud of him, where he refused an offer of 2 million rand to stay away from council, and because he's an ethical young person dedicated to the future of our country, refused, and he gave us already on Friday a sworn statement of this advances made by two ANC councillors.
All right, so you've got someone who's going on the record saying he was offered a 2 million rand bribe and refused, and then you've got another member in writing, and then you've got another member who stayed away for reasons that you suspect are not above board. Can you name both those people?
Yes, the councillor, former, because this one is a former, is no longer ActionSA councillor, former Kivet, who, after we terminated his position as a councillor, wrote to our caucus leader that is having financial problems and he needed to augment his earnings. How, obviously, he did not really explain. This is not up to us. We hope that the police can take interest in this matter. We don't have the right as a political party to go to that level, because he's no longer our member. That's why I'm saying to you, within the next day or two, we will obviously be presenting a new councillor to the city of Johannesburg. So this is Kivet, and Councillor Herman Mashaba, he's the one who was approached and offered 2 million rands to stay away from council last Wednesday.
Yeah, and he's the one, as you say, who's on the record quite happy to stand by what he said. So clearly ActionSA is standing fully in support of the coalition, fully in support of the DA mayor. Could you please guide us on what you know of COPE? Because we saw Dennis Bloem at the police station when you were laying charges, but what's happened with Colleen? Because she's been saying some interesting things, and she's the acting speaker, isn't she?
No, she's not an acting speaker. I think government does not really operate like the rules of council and all the legislative framework in the country. But to be a speaker of council is not a hereditary thing. You've got to be elected by full sitting of council. So for her to really through with the ANC thinking that she's an acting council, that will never really happen. And I think it's up to COPE to really deal with her. For us as the coalition partners, at the earliest sitting of council, we will deal with such rogue elements and the people who actually uses. I was really quite disappointed watching a press conference using race as a reason for her rogue behavior, and also talking about being a woman. I think these are things that are disappointing, that I think you use the wrong reasons for accusing people for racism and really bringing an issue of gender into something that anyone really supporting the ANC, you're supporting a criminal activity.
Sure. So there's two COPE members, Dennis Bloem standing with the coalition. Colleen Makubele, it seems, as you say, has gone rogue. And it'll be interesting to see, and of course you can't comment on this, but what COPE actually does, because they've got their struggles at the top as well. I want to ask you about the dynamics and how you understand them between the ANC and the EFF, because there are suggestions that there's a growing push to push out the coalitions, not only in Johannesburg, but in Ekurhuleni and Pretoria as well.
Well, look, you know what, Sally, coalition government difficulties is not something unique. It's a worldwide problem. And one thing for sure for us, all of us as South Africans, we must prepare ourselves for coalitions, because I can assure you ANC will not be anywhere close to 40% in 2024. They'll be lucky to even be close to 2020, to be close to 40%. So no one is going to form government on their own. There's no way that when you look at the numbers and you look at the political dynamics in the country, that one single party will take over government. But one thing for sure is that to us as ActionSA, we're working very hard to ensure that we can really take the ANC in the early 30s, late 20s, so that we can form a coalition, multi-party government that can govern this country and hold each other accountable, like what we are doing right now. Because one of the things that, Sally, that you might not really be aware about, and perhaps some people, we've been raising this issue of the speaker with the DA for some time to say, please, can you give us a capable person? Personally, I attended a meeting 2 weeks ago with all our coalition partners, and we raised this matter with John Steenhuisen to say, John, there's this motion that's coming. Please, we are going to really support you, but please ensure that we really look into this matter. So we hope that the DA is going to arrange to really give, please not to really bring Vasco da Gama back. We'd really prefer to really have one of the parties. For us as ActionSA, we're not interested in that position. Let other coalition parties,
and just to
so
jump in there,
there's accountability.
Yeah, and sorry to jump in there, but that, I mean, in a way, it could strengthen you a little bit, because the DA is accused of being arrogant. We have seen problems in Pretoria between the DA, specifically against Randall Williams and the bid that he tried to push forward. But do you think it's going to be a fairer split if we see those three positions of Speaker, Mayor and Chief Whip split amongst the coalition partners? Is that what you'd like to see?
Absolutely, because then we can have accountability. The DA, they've got a mayor, they're in charge of the executive. But I think it will really strengthen our democracy and strengthen our multi-party government if we have a speaker coming from one of the opposition of the coalition partners. And for us as ActionSA, we make it clear to the DA we are not interested in the position. You have the PA. DA, or you've got the IFP, or you've got the ACDP. I think let one of them handle the speaker position, so that there can really be accountability. And I think and I really believe that it is not an unfair request that we're asking the DA. Let's hope the DA can really stop what it's actually is not really perception. It is a fact that the DA has really been they are the ones who caused us this mess. And let's hope that for the sake of the people of South Africa, particularly Gauteng and Johannesburg in particular, please assist us to ensure that we can stabilize, because we do have the numbers. All these the tricks that the ANC is trying to play, buying people, bringing corruption. You can imagine now you're bribing councillors. Now you can imagine what they're going to do once they take over government. So we're really asking the DA to come to their senses. Let them actually show love for this country. Let us bring stability, because they don't have a two-thirds majority. They will never have to see it in their lifetime. South Africa is going to be faced with coalition arrangements going forward. And the only way you can run a successful coalition arrangement is by showing respect to the other parties. But it's important for us to block the ANC from coming anywhere near public place. ANC and public place, they are two dangerous entities. We don't want to put the two together. That's why we're going to do everything as ActionSA to prevent that from happening.
We'll be watching to see what happens on Wednesday. And thank you very much. ActionSA leader Herman Mashaba making very important points there, saying they stand fully in support of the Joburg mayor, the DAs and Paul Palazzi, but they also make the point that the DA needs to look at splitting those key positions in council. So I suppose everyone has a stake in the game within that coalition. Everyone buys into it, and really a bit of a call for the DA perhaps to course correct on some issues. Going to be a very interesting one to watch. But let's move now.